This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/audio.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman, and this show is brought to you by CartKing.com. That's cart-king.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps the current business you have right now wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country. CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail, coffee, food, carts, and kiosks that money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor, outdoor, carts, and kiosks for any application. So what you do is you go to cart-king.com. That's CART-king.com. You check out all the different designs they have, whichever one applies to your business. They'll custom design it for you, custom build it for you, and then ship it worldwide. That's cart-king.com. 877-986-7771. Okay, we have on the phone probably one of the most fascinating people you could find, Lee Siegfried. Now, you may not recognize that name. He's also been known as Crazy Cabbie and Lee Morozak. I first heard of him on the Howard Stern show, but he's had a very, very full life, to say the least, before and after the Stern show. So, Lee Siegfried, are you there?
I'm here. How are you, Ed?
I'm good. A little too much coffee today, a little shot out of a cannon, but I think I can rein myself.
All right. You're in Vegas. You'll be fine.
I can rein myself in a bit. Tell us about yourself. Who is Lee Siegfried?
Who is Lee Siegfried?
Yeah.
Lee Siegfried is, I'm just a regular guy. I'm a veteran, disabled, currently residing in a wheelchair in New Jersey. Year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with something called GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, and I lost the use of my legs. So I've done many things. I was a cab driver. I was a radio guy. I was a peddler of pornography. I was going to ask you, what's that cart? What is it?
CartKing.com.
Sponsor?
Yeah. Yeah, they build those carts and kiosks.
You think they'd make me a kiosk for a mall that I could sell dildos in?
Yeah, you know what? They definitely would. If you could find the mall that would let you sell that, they could definitely, because let me ask you a question.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, that's right. Tis the season, right?
Right.
This GBS. Now, I was talking to you off the air a little bit. We had another guest on that has this GBS. Now, and this is a frightening, because this just came on out of nowhere. Am I right?
Completely. One day I could walk, next day I couldn't. And I fell in my house, and I ended up in the hospital for over 7 months. And I'm now in a wheelchair. I can't walk. I mean, I can move my legs, but I can't support my weight.
Now,
it's a struggle to take a shit, Ed.
Let me ask you something now, because the other guest we had on, he got it from the flu shot, But now,
I've heard that. No. But I hadn't had a flu shot in like 4 years before I got it, so I don't know that it was from that. But there's so little research done on the disease or the syndrome or whatever you call it, because it's so rare that they don't know exactly what it's from.
And they did something with him too, where they changed out all his blood. They gave him entire body blood plasma transfusion. Did they do that with you?
No, I was on called IVIG, immunoglobulin intravenous injections, where they put some kind of human growth hormone in you.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is, but I did that for about 9 months, and it wasn't working, and so they stopped that. But how did that guy come around after the blood transfusion?
He's out of the hospital, and they're talking about 1 year of rehabilitation, but that he will get like 99% of his functions back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, are you getting good medical care? Do you have like the VA taking care of you?
Yeah, the VA takes care of me. Good medical care is a relative term nowadays.
Yeah. Well, God bless you, man. So is there any chance you can get out of this wheelchair?
Hopefully. I'm hopeful that, 80% of people recover from GBS. So,
right.
I'm hoping that I'll be all right, but it's a waiting game at this point. Physical therapy is not going to help me if my legs don't work.
Yeah. And
yeah, so
how does that change? Besides, how does that? Your whole life gets just turned upside down, right? How do you cope with something like that?
You just do. I mean, it's another curveball thrown at you in life. You have to figure out your way around it and work through it. Thank God, my wife, my love of my life for the past almost 18 years now, has been there and supported me and helped me out. I'm lucky, Yeah. I could be totally screwed right now and be alone.
Yeah, that's true. Thank God for that.
It's very depressing, though. Yeah. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, I first heard about you from Howard Stern, but tell me about your life before Howard Stern.
Well, I grew up in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I was adopted. At about 13, I left home because I didn't like the people who had bought me through the Catholic Charities, and I was basically raised in the system of foster homes and group homes, and I made my way through that and survived. And when I was 17, I went out on my own and got a full-time job and lived my life. And when I was 20, I joined the military. Was a paratrooper, fought in the first Gulf War. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Came home, got out, was married for a short time, and started numerous jobs, bartending, bouncing at bars, and then eventually taxi and driving a cab in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I was calling a morning show, Andy Savage in the morning, and I would get through every morning. It was right at the end of my shift. I'd, shoot the shit a little bit, tell them a story from the cab. They liked what I had. They liked what I did. And I had briefly gone to broadcast school after the military, but I didn't really want to end up in Iowa reading farm reports or anything like that. So I started, like I said, I was driving a cab, and next thing you know, I got my foot in the door at ABC Radio, Disney Radio in Minneapolis, and I ran with it from there, and that was my career for a better part of 17 years.
Your stint in the military, would you do that again, and would you recommend that to kids coming up to enlist?
I think the military is a good thing. I think it should almost be, like some countries, mandatory for a young 18, 19-year-old kid to, take some time out and see how the other half lives, get some real discipline. Because family discipline can vary from, I grew up in an abusive household to you could be coddled and don't really understand what life is. So, yeah, I would totally recommend the military to everybody.
Even though I believe you have some PTSD and you have like Gulf War syndrome, even still you don't have a regret from doing that?
No, I don't have a regret.
Okay.
They're taking care of me medically. They helped me get. I graduated in 2012 from the City University of New York with a degree in psychology. So they put me through college. I would recommend it, even above and beyond all the negatives that might be attached to it.
You know, that's true. I'm 6 years older than you, and I have no medical insurance. And if I were to get this GBS thing, I'd just be out in the street. I'd just be dead because I would get no medical care whatsoever. You know, I would just be
I understand.
out of luck. Yeah,
medical people don't. You know, people thought Obamacare was going to fix everything, and it didn't fix everything. And a lot of people lost their coverage because of it.
Yeah, that was a mess. Yeah, that was. I just had to pay that fine on my taxes this year. That $600 fine. So add insult to injury. You know, I get no medical care, and then on top of that, I got to pay a fine for it. Well, thank you very much.
Because you weren't paying into the system or whatever?
Yeah, because I can't afford Obamacare. I can't afford that stuff. So, you know, what do you do?
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's more than most people were paying normally for private health care out of their monthly check every month.
Yeah, it's outrageous. Now you say you were adopted, right? And I know from watching a lot. I've been binge watching the Stern Show on YouTube. And that's how I've been interviewing a lot of people from the Stern Show lately. Your adoption, you located your biological parents.
Well, I located my biological mother. Actually, the Stern Show helped me do that. And her name is Audrey, and she still lives in Anoka. And she was a summer of love teenage girl when she had me, and she couldn't take care of me. So she put me up for adoption, and, I could have been an abortion.
And how did they go about finding her? Did they hire an investigator?
Yeah, they hired a company called Kin Solving. I don't know if they're still around,
right,
but I know it cost them a lot of money because I had actually tried to find her prior to them finding her, and they spent a pretty penny to find her. Because it wasn't easy, because when you're adopted through Catholic Charities, it's all confidential and, that kind of stuff.
Adoption investment really back in the 90s and stuff like that, but they've come down drastically in the past few years.
I'm sure nowadays with the Internet.
Yeah, and Ancestry.com.
You can find anybody you want on Facebook.
Yeah, that's true, too, yeah. Now, how did it work out? Because I do a lot of those reunifications between people in the adoption system. How did it work out for you?
It's worked out fine. I mean, we're not super close, but we're not, distant. And she's my mom, and I actually allowed her to adopt me back in 2003. So she's actually my mother again. And yeah, man.
And is
that's why my name changed.
That's why you got the name changed, because her name is Siegfried, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, fascinating. Looking back, what do you think about your years with the Stern Show? Do you regret that or what?
I mean, I don't necessarily regret it. It was a time in my life when it was something I was doing. I loved when I did it. I worked at the station. I did afternoons with a guy named Kane, and had an overnight show, and had a weekend show that I played heavy metal on. The Stern Show was just like a side thing that I got to go in there and let a little more loose than I would normally on the air and have some fun. It was a good time.
But you wound up getting in trouble over the taxes, right?
Yeah.
How'd that come about?
Well, I went in the air and I said something stupid, and the IRS came and hammered me.
Okay, so listen to you. What happened to contact you?
Well, they knocked on my door. I knew they had been looking.
Yeah.
And people had told me they were looking, so... It's the IRS, dude. It's the IRS.
But it's not the taxes. Years and years of Trump.
In the government, it's not denying your tax, it's denying the returns.
Right.
The law states have to file a return. There's no debtor's prison anymore, but it's considered it's filing returns.
And you think they told you because we're on the air to make
this is what I said on the air.
Right.
I said I'll pay my taxes when I cure my for it. And lo and behold, I filed in years, and they came after me.
Now, when you were talking to these guys, you ever talk to them man to man and say, "Hey, why you bust my bullshit as I'm on the air"?
Yeah, they said they had to do their job.
Yeah.
The judge, when he sentenced me, said he can't allow someone to, thumb their nose at the government. Radio, it's a different thing at private citizen. I was a separate figure who went on the air and said something derogatory towards the government.
Yeah.
So they have to take it serious because it's come and gets charged. You go, well, you let that radio guy go.
Yeah, and also you're encouraging people to go out and do the stuff. There's a lot of big changes around this country.
Yeah, you think medical care is expensive.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So now, how was your time in prison? How did that go?
Hell, it's a prison. It's supposed to be hell.
Now, I heard some things. I guess you had just first gotten straight there and you talked about you thought they poisoned you in there and there were Freemasons involved. What was all that about? Okay. All right. Now, I don't know what this is, but it did seem like you had a real serious down there. Up for the
I was in a hole for almost 4 months. I was in solitary confinement. That'll cause some mental issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But none of that was a bit. That was all real.
Nah, everything I've done on the radio was real.
Okay. Now,
100%. I went to prison, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
You think that was a bit?
No, I know. That was real.
I mean, my shit was always real. 100%. Everything I ever did, said, it was real. People tried to, question the things that I said on the air and things like that. And there we go. That's how I made my bones in media and radio, was being real. Because what are you going to do? You're going to go on the air and be full of shit? It's bad, but a lot of people have gotten rich with it, so
yeah.
I guess that thing.
Have you written about?
No, I've probably got a couple books in me, but not a writer, so I'd need someone to help me facilitate, maybe let go or something. But yeah, I know KC and some IC book because I like that guy, support that guy. But when I got it, I was a little disappointed in the fact that it was just excerpts from his radio show. It wasn't an actual book.
Yeah, I just had.
But, I mean, it might be good. I haven't read it yet, but it's already been said. Everything in there is just he's quoting his radio show. So it's not new material if anybody's listened to him. Correct?
Yeah, I hate, but still, we want him to make some money selling his books. They go and buy the book. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's supposed to come on the show.
That's not all it's cracked up to be, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's supposed to come on the show, too. We just had Stuttering John. I had Jackie on the show, and AJ Benz. I'm a huge Stern fan, for back in the old days. What about now? Do you listen to the show now?
No, I haven't listened. I didn't listen to it when I was on it.
Okay.
When you work in radio, you don't really listen to it that much.
That's true.
I tend to listen to jazz and classical music because they don't play commercials. I like public radio. I don't like all the bullshit. Plus, I worked in media for damn near 2 decades. So there's just nothing that I hear that's really any. And I'm surely not going to pay to listen to it.
What about this growth of all these podcasts? And every time you turn around, there's a new podcast popping up. You ever consider doing that?
I've been offered a couple. I'm actually talking with Kane, the guy I used to be on the air with. He's doing mornings now in New York City at the old K-Rock. They renamed it, I think it's the Alt or something. And we've been talking about it. It's something I've thought about. It's not something I've seriously pursued, but there's been other people offered want to do a podcast. Just, I don't know. You do something in your life and you get to a point and you want to keep doing that same thing. And I did that. I was on the radio, so I don't know if I want to be on the radio anymore. I'm going through a crisis in my life right now with my health and everything. So, do I want to? Is that something I want to do right now? I don't know. It's something I've talked about doing now. But everybody's got a podcast, so how do you stand out?
Yeah, now it's almost impossible. Yeah, and
you really you have to be a name or offer something completely different. Otherwise, if everybody's got an opinion, does anybody's opinion matter?
Yeah. Well, you got the name, that's for sure. Everybody knows Crazy Cabbie, at least. You know what I mean? And even Lee Mazurek, Morozak, everybody knows that name. Speaking of Crazy Cabbie, is it true that you sued Disneyland because of that ride? They had that Crazy Cabbie ride?
No.
Okay, did you threaten to sue them?
No.
Really? Then why did they change the name of that ride?
I don't know. I have no idea what you're actually talking about.
Really? You've never heard that? I guess it's an urban legend. You never heard that Disneyland had that ride called Crazy Cabbie and that they changed the name to Flight School or something like that?
I never heard that. No, they would have had to have done it on their own, but yeah, I never sued Disneyland.
Okay.
What lawyer would even take that case?
Okay, good.
I mean, but they would have to, because domain, and I was being called Crazy Cabbie since the mid '90s at the very least. So they would have had to, I would have gotten some sort of, I guess, what do you call it? Eminent domain?
Well, not eminent domain, but the copyright, yeah.
Yeah, but, I never trademarked my name, so it wasn't, but, it's implied consent if you're known as something and someone willingly uses that. People sue each other for that shit all the time.
Yeah, if you go to Disneyland even today and you wait online for that ride, people talk about that. People talk about, hey, this used to be called Crazy Cabbie from the Howard Stern Show.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Well, I should be making some money off that.
Yeah,
ride.
maybe you should.
I should get a clip.
Yeah. Okay, let me take a little commercial break. Okay, we're here with Lee Siegfried, formerly of the Howard Stern Show. Fascinating life, fascinating character here. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll be right back with more of Lee Siegfried after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing, and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subash Technosis by email at info@subashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling, websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com.